Well, good Tuesday afternoon. I got a little behind today and I'm running kind of short on time, so I'm not going to give a whole lot of additional explanations or things. I just want to get into this and share it with you. It's not a real long thought today, but it can be kind of profound. Let me just tell you, I want to talk about the kind of love that we should be sharing with others. I have a short little story to give you about it. Um, in his book entitled Written in Blood, a man by the name of Robert Coleman tells the story of a little boy whose sister needed a blood transfusion. The doctor had explained that she had the same disease the boy had, and he had recovered from it about 2 years earlier. Her only chance for recovery was a transfusion from someone who had previously conquered the disease. Since the two children had the same rare blood type, the boy, whose name was Johnny, was the ideal donor. "Would you give your blood to Mary?" the doctor asked. Johnny hesitated. His lower lip started to tremble. Then he smiled and said, "Sure, for my sister." Soon the two children were wheeled into the hospital room. Mary, pale and thin, Johnny, robust and healthy. Neither spoke, but when their eyes met, Johnny grinned. As the nurse inserted the needle into his arm, Johnny's smile faded. He watched the blood flow through the tube. And then, with the ordeal almost over, his voice, slightly shaky, broke the silence. "Doctor, when do I die?" Only then did the doctor realize why Johnny had hesitated, why his lip had trembled when he'd agreed to donate his blood. He'd thought giving his blood to his sister meant giving up his life. In that brief moment, he had made his decision. Johnny, fortunately, didn't have to die to save his sister. Each of us, however, has a condition more serious than Mary's, and it required Jesus to give not just his blood, but his life. Now, this certainly calls to mind the verses in John 15:12-14 that says, "This is my commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that one lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you." Jesus shared the greatest love for us by laying down his life on the cross. How much have we given to him? How often do we sacrifice our own desires in order to serve him or serve others in his name? Very seldom does sharing love require one of us to give our life for another, but we still often hesitate to give our time, our skills, our care, our attention, or anything else that we can offer. So, what kind of love do we have for God? Is it love that is willing to give anything he asks? Or is it love that stops when the situation needs more than we are comfortable giving? See, I'm convinced that every one of us has opportunities every week to show Christ's love to others. Some of us will ignore those moments. They will be inconvenient. They will be too costly. They will be unworthy of our attention. They will be intrusive. They will be unpopular. They will be something we are just uncomfortable with and don't want to bother with. We will shake them off and tell ourselves that they weren't divinely appointed by God for us. I pray for all of us who make these choices, that we will be touched by the Spirit and reminded of the sacrifice Jesus made for us. pray that we will ask God's forgiveness and look to serve him the next time he gives us opportunity. Now, some of us will choose to take advantage of those moments and be the heart of God for someone else. Those of us who make this choice will know the joy of our salvation being worked out through our lives. We will know a very small portion of the joy that Christ knew in going to the cross. I want to commend everyone listening who has the chance to share love with someone else and doesn't concern themselves with the cost, but without hesitation offers whatever they can to be Jesus to others. Remember, the reason Jesus had joy in going to the cross, according to Hebrews 12, was because of what he knew it would accomplish. He knew that it would give us eternal life, and he knew that it would bring us into his family and make us his children. That was the joy that he knew in going to the cross. We can know joy too in serving others, in giving of our love, in sacrificing ourselves for someone else. You know, in Ephesians chapter 5, the first 2 verses, God says this: "Therefore be imitators of God as beloved children, and walk in love, just as Christ also loved you and gave himself up for you, an offering and a sacrifice to God as a fragrant aroma." Johnny knew that kind of love. Johnny offered that kind of love. Johnny became that kind of love. Let's be that kind of love to others this week. Just a short reminder to share love with those around us and to be unconcerned about what the cost might be to us, but to just be willing to be the hands and the feet, the mouth, the eyes, the heart of God to people around us. Well, teenagers, a couple messages for you. Senior high guys and girls, we have a meeting this week. On Wednesday night. It will be at the home of Ethan and Mary Beth Alderfer, and we will be meeting at church at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Be sure to bring your mask so that you can ride in the van, and if you haven't already turned in one of the waivers, the release forms from parents, be sure that you have that to turn in. We will be back at the church at 9 o'clock. We had said at one point that it would be 9:30, but it will be 9 o'clock. So 6:30 at church, return to church at 9 o'clock. If you know where Ethan and Mary Beth live and you want to meet us there, you can do that. That's okay. But you don't need to be there until at least 6:45. Junior high guys and girls, we have our first get together in person this Thursday night. It will be cabin night at Trisha's cabin. We're going to meet at church in the parking lot at 6:30 p.m. and we'll be back at 9 p.m. Again, you need to bring masks because you'll be riding in the church vans. And then also bring your waiver, your release from your parents' release form. There will be forms at the church if you need one or forgot one. For both junior high and senior high, you might want to bring a lawn chair. Remember that for both things, we will be outside playing yard games. We'll have some kind of snacks like s'mores, maybe hot dogs, things like that. At least at the junior high, I think we're going to have hot dogs. But we will spend time together. We'll play some games together. We'll have devotions, and then we'll be done and back at church by 9. If you have any questions, contact one of the leaders, and we'll be sure to get you the information that you need. For all of us, I just want to say, be love to someone else today, tomorrow, during this week. And have a good afternoon and a great evening. And I'll talk with you again tomorrow. God bless you. Bye.